You're listening to the Festive 50s, a fan podcast, or fans podcast. I think we're up for a fan podcast. I'm Martin Johnston.
And I'm John Johnston, the younger brother.
The baby bro. And we decided you decided that this was a good idea for a podcast. Why did you decide this was a good idea for a podcast?
I think it's a missing thing. John Peel was a massive influence on people of our age who are now in their probably 50s and 60s, bringing us music nightly between 10 and 12. And there didn't seem to be anything celebrating his genius idea of the Festive 50, where he counted down his listeners voted top 3 songs from that year. We're going with the from that year version to start with.
Yeah, explain that.
The whole thing started in 1976, where he came up with the idea of asking his listeners to vote for their favourite 3 songs. So between 76 and 82, he was basically getting the same kind of songs every year. So after 1982, he decided, no, it should be really based on the year rather than just repeating the same kind of top 10 year after year with the occasional kind of new track coming in. So we decided 1982 is the best way to start.
So 1982, it was all songs from that particular year, not the best songs of all time. Although there was a best of all time in 82 as well.
He did two charts, a classic and a year. The classic was very much sort of dominated by Susie and the Banshees and Sex Pistols, which had been in the last sort of, understandably, because that's what his listeners were sort of growing up with, his love of the kind of punk sound that came in the late 70s. So that's what dominated everything. And it kind of shows what his fan base was up until 82. I'm not saying it changed, but it kind of 82 is also, it seems to feel like a year that music started becoming post-punk.
Are we gonna go as far as to say hippies and
very
punks?
nearly. I suppose up till 77, 78, it was still going to be dominated with sort of bands like Can and Yes. There's a lot of that kind of hippie kind of hangover. It wasn't until
Wishbone Ash.
John Peel himself was a massive fan of anyway. That's where his kind of grounding in radio shows came from. I can't remember the Something Garden, the Perfume Garden was his old radio show, and
was, and that was
very much so.
That was hippies.
But at the time,
only.
It was all the new music of the time. It was what the kids were getting into. So it was just natural for him to follow that same progression to then go into the punk sound as that came in.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I think, if you listen to something like Can, which is fantastic, there's no way you can associate that with something that, what can I pull out of my hole here that is totally hippie-ish? Are you going to San Francisco? Those two records, not a terrible record, but when you compare that to something like Can, there's no comparison. So we'll let him off on his hippie thing. So he's gone from hippies, he's gone through the punks, and now we're at 1982. So it's post-punk world. And what else was happening? Have you got the spreadsheet? By the way, do you know what was happening in 1982? Because I've been naughty and not got the spreadsheet
in 1982 open. With the fabulous facts as supplied by my researcher wife. Where's it gone to?
The head researcher on the show, Kate Johnston.
So far, only researcher. I have got this.
Hmm.
There it is. So in 1982, "Come On, Eileen" was the biggest selling record for Dexy's Midnight Runners, with over 1 million sales. The Christmas #1 was the ever fabulous Renee and Renato's "Save Your Love." I think anybody who kind of hears that sees the same image of me of that video. I don't know if that comes to mind, but it was a turning point in music, I'd say. But that
Probably you're
yes,
turning the
but
wrong
it
way,
helped,
but
But that gave us sorry, go on.
and of course also in 1982, Falklands War. That was when Argentina
Yeah,
invaded
yeah.
the Falklands. Um,
What else?
what else? Big films that year: Sylvester Stallone in First Blood, Tootsie, Tron. What a boring film that
Why
is.
do they keep
Um,
remaking it?
I don't know. And in music, Ozzy Osbourne's guitarist Randy Rhoads was killed
Yeah.
in a plane crash. Iron Maiden released The
Yes.
Number of the Beast, which hit #1 in the UK charts. Now, why that actually comes up as being significant in music news, as opposed to all the other music news, who knows?
Um, it wasn't. I think it, from what I can remember, that would have been the year. Sorry, not the year. It would have made a massive dent in the chart of being like the first time that what we'll call heavy metal was, #1. Um, Before that, it was still quite a underground kind of thing. But I'd say at that point there was a lot of people. It would have been one or the other. You know, there was metal and there was punk. There was a few bands, Motorhead, that kind of sound that bridged the gap. But there was very definitely a uh, even um, how would you describe it? So the metalers putting the Number of the Beast to #1 was as significant for them
Yeah,
as I remember seeing the Smiths on Top of the Pops for the first time. It just doesn't happen. So that I think is why it stood out as being a very important thing.
yeah. I think you're right. I wouldn't have been caught dead listening to metal
No,
back in those days. Even though the very first album that I ever owned, I must have liked the song, or somebody must have given it to me. But I don't know if you know this, was Deep Purple.
what was it? Deepest Purple? Was it that one?
I can't remember. It's got Smoke on the Water on it.
All right, yeah. Was
So
it?
I think it was deep. It was the one where they're all like they've got candles on their heads or flames
Oh
on
yeah,
their
yeah.
heads. Yeah, I
Would it
think it
been
might have
given
been
to
deep.
you by one of our uncles? Because Uncle Steve had a couple of Deep Purple albums. I remember in his house.
Yeah, and of course Fran had the best record collection,
Yes.
and Uncle Fran had a record collection that went all the way round the back of his couch. And recently I went to his house and he gave me all his Steely Dan albums
Wow.
because I've been getting in Steely Dan. So I've now got 7 Steely Dan vinyls in my
By
collection.
me.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of what else was going on in 1982.
But
Um,
E.T. was the big movie of the year, wasn't it?
was it? That didn't come up on my list, but I'll,
Yeah.
I'll...
And Jane Fonda's workout video debuted.
well, obviously we both had that. Um, 1980,
They were the big visual points of the year.
yeah. 1982 was a big year for me. It was my second year at uni, so I was at that time I was probably spending most of my student grant on records, Jumbo Records and HMV in Leeds. Got a lot of money out of me, and quite a lot on songs in this festive 50. What were you? How old were you in 82?
15.
15. So at school, and a lot of this, and a lot of this you would have only really heard on John
Yeah.
Peel.
Yeah. 15. So I'd have been had I moved back to Devon then? Yes. So I just um, at the end of the year, I was moving back to Devon, and I was starting to buy records for myself because I had a little job stacking shelves in Safeways, I think it was, and
Excellent.
Mum took £10 of that off me, and the rest of it either went on nights out or vinyl. And I did recently work out how much money I spent by adding up all the vinyl I bought between just the like if I just the cost of what I paid, not what it's worth. And from the time I started buying vinyl till I think about till I was about 22, I spent over £20,000 on vinyl.
Excellent. And you don't want to give us the figure of like to date because researcher Kate is listening.
Yes, yes,
So
yes, yeah, very much. There's and it's still going. Even now that albums are 30, £40 a go, I still,
yeah,
I
crazy.
know.
But it's good to see that CDs and cassettes both making a comeback as well. So all those racks of CDs I've got, I can play, and I wish I had a cassette recorder because I bought two. Because well, one I bought the download of the album and I got the cassette with it, which is Real Estate's Daniel album last year, and a local band here called Thought Leadership. Um, I got I bought the cassette because I wanted to support the band. So yeah, but I've got nothing to play the cassettes on. So, but I did immediately as soon as I got it, I went on eBay to look for old Walkmans. So
Invest in one of those cassette to USB things, and you can convert it to digital.
yes, thing is, I've got the digital of both of those anyway. So
Oh,
yeah.
right, fair enough.
So, but it'd be interested. I would be interested to hear what they sound like quality wise. Um,
Hmm.
anyway, that's what was going on in 1982 in our lives and in the world in general.
Yes.
And the first ever Festive 50, which was Songs of the Year. Shall we count down the Festive 50? Do you want to do 50 to 40?
Yeah, yeah. Um, so we'll start at number 50, like I say, with The Farmer's Boys. I Think I Need Help. 49, Susie and the Banshees with Melt. 48 was Action Packed, Suicide Bag. 47 was the Higson's Conspiracy. 46, Bauhaus with Third Uncle. 45, Simple Minds Glittering Prize. 44, Shambeka Say Wah, Remember. 43, Weekend with a View from Her Room. 42 was the Chameleons in Shreds. 41 was the Passage with XOYO. And at 40, there was the Clash with Rock the Casbah.
Standouts there. The Higsons, obviously, that's Charlie Higson
Yeah.
band, and considering well, I think he at the time took it very seriously,
Mm,
but obviously he then became a comedian. But they put out quite a few songs, so
they
I've got the
did.
12-inch of Down.
Wasn't it on Two Tone? Run Me Down. Was Run Me Down on Two Tone? I know they did at least one single on Two Tone.
I don't know. I'm not getting up and going into the next room to find that out. But I'll take your word for it. Shambika Sewa stands out obviously because that's the original version of Pete Wiley's Wow.
Yeah.
And Weekend, now Weekend, obviously there's the Weekend these days,
Mm.
but that was definitely Weekend, and I've got a feeling was that quite twee? That
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say this was the early sort of jangly guitar thing. That kind
yeah,
of um, yeah, that kind of what would you call it? Almost fey sound.
yeah. So then at 39, The Bitterest Pill I Ever Had to Swallow by The Jam. 38, Serious Drinking, Love on the Terraces. 37 was The Cocktail Twins and Wax and Wayne. 36 musical youths past the Duchy. 35 and 34 were both covered by Blancmange. Covered by Blancmange. Feel Me was at 35 and Living on the Ceiling at 34, which is a record I know we had in the house. I'll come back to that. 33, The Cure, A Strange Day. 32 was Simple Minds, Someone Somewhere in Summertime. 31 was the Redskins' Peasant Army, and at 30 was Simple Minds again with Promised You a Miracle. So yeah, Blancmange definitely had that in the house.
Yeah.
Was that yours or our sister's?
It was mine. It was the first album I ever bought. First full length LP I paid my own cash for. It's funny, I can remember my first 7-inch, 12-inch album and 10-inch.
Go on then.
7-inch was Bad Manners, Nini Nana Nana Nunu.
Excellent.
12-inch was Fashion by from David Bowie, which I bought in Probe in Liverpool. And
Excellent work.
10-inch was OMD's Electricity, which I bought secondhand from Crazy Dave's in Barnstable, which was run by an ex-member of Hawkwind, Crazy Dave, obviously. And like I said, the album was Blancmange's Happy Families.
Good work. I can only remember somebody gave me that Deep Purple album, so I didn't buy that with my own money. But the first 7-inch I bought with my own money was Jilted John.
I remember.
Which, yeah, and we went to see Graham Fellows. He'd made a documentary about. He's built a house in the Hebrides, and he made a documentary about driving up there, and he's very concerned about the planet and stuff like that. So, and he was on his stall at the end of the show, and I bought some coasters off him, which say John Shuttleworth type things on them, like don't leave the dishwasher door open because you'll bang your legs. It says on the coaster that's in front of me.
It's good.
And I told him that Jilted John was my very first single that I bought with my own money, and he was very pleased. So that was nice. On Blancmange, my favourite Blancmange record, they covered "The Day Before You Came" by ABBA.
Yeah,
and one of my favourite. I would say my favourite ABBA song and my favourite Blancmange song. I just think it's such an unusual, strange song for both of them. I can see Blancmange. I can see it having been something that Blancmange wrote.
yes,
more than something ABBA wrote. I think just such a great song.
I've still yet to get the ABBA groove, but yeah, I know what you're saying. If it was me choosing an ABBA song with a gun to my head, it would probably be the Day Before You Came. I've yet to get to the point where I'll break and say, all right, I'll listen to it.
And another really unusual, 100% pop, but again, never really anything else like it. Was Musical Youths Past the Duchy. Really unusual song, fun little thing. And yeah, deserved its place in the charts, deserved its place in this chart. Stands up, I think, if you play that at a, I was going to say disco. Then how old am I? If you play that as a DJ, I think everyone can wind their waist to that one.
Oh yeah, it fits into so many playlists. It's not embarrassingly twee. It's not so based on its time. It is, and I can't even remember who produced it, but the production on it for kids who were, I think the youngest was like 11 at the time. The production was quite a deep, rootsy feel, but with still a lot of pop in there. Do you know what I mean? It still felt authentically based in a reggae sound.
Yep, absolutely. And did you know it was a reworking of a Neil Diamond song?
I didn't know that. No, I can't see the connection of that. Did they
Ask
dub
the
it? Or...
Well, I don't know. It just says a reworking on because I was looking. I didn't know that either. I have to be honest. I was looking for that, and this is what Wikipedia is telling me. Because I was looking up for the producers. It's produced by Pete Waterman.
All right.
So not as you would think,
Pete Waterman was a massive Northern Soul fan.
Indeed.
So I can see that he would have had the same kind of sensibilities on if he produced that. Although, I don't know, that's weird because I think it may mean that the album was produced by somebody called Tony Owens from Jamaica, but not necessarily as a single.
Right.
But sold over 5 million copies.
Right. Pass the Coochie was a song about cannabis by the Mighty Diamonds, and obviously to make it Tony Owens came up with the modified lyric to make it chart friendly. So about a Dutchie is a Dutch oven, much used in Jamaican cookery.
Oh, video directed by Don Letts, the famous Don Letts.
Indeed.
The Rebel Dread.
Shout out to Don Letts. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I said Neil Diamond. I have to hold my hand up. It's the Mighty Diamonds, not Neil Diamond. I got round to it in the end.
Yeah,
Mighty Diamonds.
I was trying to find that Neil Diamond thing. Yeah. I just couldn't have a visualization of Neil Diamond doing a soft reggae version of that.
I'll admit it. It doesn't work.
No.
And to save my embarrassment growing, count us down from 29 to 20.
Right. So it's 29. We had the Psychedelic Furs with Love My Way. 28, The Cure with The Figurehead. 26 and 27 with The Clash with Know Your Rights and Should I Stay or Should I Go. 25, The Cure with The Hanging Garden. 24, Aztec Camera, Pillar to Post. 23, Susie and the Banshees, Slow Dive. 22, China Crisis with African and White. And 21, Farmer's Boys back again with Whatever Is He Like. And at number 20, Killing Joke with Empire Song.
Psychedelic Furs stand out because we saw them at Glastonbury.
Yeah.
I think they headlined the Saturday, I think. Boys closed out on the Sunday, I think.
Yeah. What night did The Cure play
then? Did they play the Friday night?
They played the Friday. Could have been. I know it was definitely those three, and I know it absolutely drenched when The Cure played. And I remember they started with A Forest, and as they started, a kind of the guitar started, and this massive bolt of lightning kind of lit up the sky, and that has burned into my memory from that Glastonbury ever since.
Good memory, cool memory.
It's not my most lasting memory of that Glastonbury. My most lasting memory was getting dysentery.
Indeed, and you had to. You were in isolation in hospital, weren't you?
No, that was when I was in school with having a throat infection that nearly killed me. But that's.
Oh right, yeah. That was when you could only eat Smarties and ice cream.
Yes. I had a tube.
Living the dream.
And the only drink I could have was Bass Shandy, the Shandy Bass. What a life!
And I came to the hospital and waved at you through the window, so it wasn't all bad.
Yeah, no one was allowed in. It was not a nice 6 months or whatever. It felt like years, but anyway, that's definitely off track of what.
Yes. And also, I got into massive trouble from Mum for taking you to Glastonbury and coming back with this.
She never told me.
Yeah, I mean, you were an adult by then. You were 18, weren't you?
86. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I know many people who were at that that festival that year, and a lot of them came back a lot worse off than I did.
It'll be interesting to, when we get to 1984, see which of the things that we saw made those charts, because there was some things that like burned very brightly but very quickly, like We've Got a Fuzzbox.
Yeah.
Ted Chippington, we saw. Wooden Tops, I definitely saw. Be interesting to see when we get to 1984.
Was it 84? I thought it was 85. Was it 84?
Sorry, 86.
86.
86, yeah, sorry. So when you're talking about the 80s, just 1984 just comes into your head and nothing you can do about it. Right, 19 was Dexy's Midnight Runners' Come On Eileen. 18 was Scritti Politi's Asylums in Jerusalem. 17 was New Order's Hurt. 16 was Susie and the Banshees and Fireworks. 14 was Bauhaus and their version of Ziggy Stardust. 14 was Associates and Party Fears 2. 13 was Scritti Politi's Faithless. 12 was Yazoo's Only You. 11 was The Jams, Town Called Malice. And 10 was Wild Swans with Revolutionary Spirit. So that's a very tight, a tight 10 there, I'd say.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a few kind of hangovers. Still Susie's still managing to make an entrance, even though, like I say, they did dominate for years the post-punk thing. So I'm guessing that's still part of that hangover. And Bauhaus.
Yeah, they absolutely dominated the Festive 50 at this, before and at this time. So massive,
Yeah.
All the Peel fans are way into the Banshees.
Yes, definitely. What else was in that? Scritti Politti making 2. Was it 2 in the same? Yeah, just
yeah. Faithless at 13 and Asylums in Jerusalem.
Yeah, one of my all-time favorite bands.
Asylums in Jerusalem was a big dance floor hit at college. It was like on a Friday night, you would definitely hear Asylums in Jerusalem, and quite often it would be followed by Fascist Groove Thing from Heaven 17. So, which it surprises me Heaven 17 aren't in this.
Yeah. Nothing at all, not or even a Human League track.
Yes, well, yeah, exactly.
This is the year. Was it Being Boiled was 1980, wasn't it? So this was 2 years. So so they'd split by then, but Don't You Want Me was 83, wasn't it? So maybe this was just a little bit too early.
Don't You Want Me not 81? I have a massive, wasn't it not Christmas 81? Because that was a massive thing, like memory for me in college. I mean, it might have been 83. Have a look.
Yeah.
It
was 81. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, Christmas 81.
Yeah,
because that was huge in our disco and huge in our college, and that was in the days when it used to snow in December. So I've got lovely memories of that particular record. I love the 12-inch. The remix of that is really, really good as well.
The League Unlimited Orchestra.
The League Unlimited Orchestra, indeed. So yeah, Scritti Politti, you were saying they're, if not your favourite band of all time, they're up there.
Oh yeah, definitely up there. It's that first album, Songs to Remember, is one of those that I've had so many copies of. I think I've had 5 copies of, and my last copy is almost become sacred to not even play, because I might, if I take it out, something's going to happen to it. I think the first 3 I lent to other people and say, just listen to this and your life will change, and then they never came back again. I think the next one was a cassette, so I could listen to it more portably. I think the copy I've got now is this copy I've got now is a CD, so it's probably another one that I'll try and hunt down on vinyl again.
Yeah, just for the sake of it.
Yeah,
just so you can lose one if you want.
Yes, but I'm still a bit funny with CDs in that I found them when they first came out quite disposable, and I still kind of like I've got hundreds of them. I look at them and go, does anyone actually collect them? Are they, I've got on my 21st birthday, a friend of mine at the time bought me a uh, double gatefolded 7-inch single, uh, gold embossed, numbered of Bross's When Will I Be Famous? And he knew
Why did they?
he, he bought it because he knew that I would never be able to get rid of it because it was a limited edition, gold embossed, double gatefolded single, and it didn't matter what the rest of it was. So
Should,
you don't get that with CDs. You know what I mean? You don't open one up and go, "Oh, it's just so rare," because they were like 12p to make or whatever it was. It
mm,
just seemed like I don't think I've got, looking at the CD stack I've got there and round the corner, 6 or 7, maybe 800 CDs, and I look at it and go, I'd rather have the vinyl, but I've got it. Yeah, I
yeah.
think that a lot of the ones I've got looking over there are compilations of stuff that I wouldn't have been able to get hold of particular tracks otherwise. Like I've got a lot of Trojan stuff on CD.
Yeah, there's yeah. I mean, there's quite a lot of CDs around about the millennium. I think CDs were still massive, and it was hardly anybody was buying vinyl around then.
Mm,
So I've still got a lot of really good albums that um, I'm just trying to look over here. I think I've got quite a few Half Man Half Biscuit albums on CD.
mm,
But cassettes, yeah, cassettes. The one thing about cassettes, because they were recordable. That's the thing.
mm.
So the mixtape belongs on cassette, and
Yeah,
that's that. So there are there will be around the world just some fantastic mixtapes that people have made and hopefully kept. And getting a pack of CDs for Christmas,
yeah.
cassettes for Christmas was a whole thing. And
Mm.
looking longingly at the Maxells and thinking I can't afford them, so I can just about afford TDK.
Yeah.
But if if I know I really don't want to hear this very well, I'm going to go for the, I don't know, Woolworth's Own, whatever.
If I'm just recording it off the radio, it's top 20.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, if it's a proper mixtape, you're getting serious. You've
Yeah.
got to go for the Maxell, haven't you? Um, and I think just another shout out in case we didn't do it later. Just Associates Party Fears 2 just stands out as in that set as just a
Oh,
fantastic record.
definitely. Yeah. Um, I the funny thing about that particular Associates track, Party Fears too, the intro belies the rest of the song. Do you know what I mean?
It
It's
belies it. So
yeah. There doesn't seem to be any connection between the first kind of 5 seconds and then the rest of the song. There's this weird kind of sound. Do
yeah,
you
it's
remember
like
the intro?
yeah, it's a ding 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 ding
Yeah, and
ding diddly dee
it,
dee. That was good, wasn't it?
yeah, but it's not a riff that's in the rest of the song. It's
No.
just like they went, we've got this bit, and now we'll play the song. It's like, okay,
People tend to do that more on albums. That's
yeah,
more of an album
yeah,
thing.
as if it was
People,
like a bridging part between two songs. That makes sense, but yeah, that's weird.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
astonishing
Um,
vocalist.
right. Well, take us home from number 9.
From number 9, we start with Artery into the Garden. Number 8, Theatre of Hate. Do you believe in the West World? Number 7, the second iteration of War with the story of the blues. The Clash at 6 with Straight to Hell. At 5, Tears for Fears with Mad World. At 4, Echo and the Bunnymen with The Back of Love. At 3, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious 5 with The Message. At 2, Robert Wyatt's Shipbuilding. And number 1, New Order with Temptation.
Such a strong. Again, talk about a tight 10.
Yeah.
Oh, there's what 2, 3 sets of Liverpool bands in there with Wild Swans, Wah and
Yeah,
Echo and the Bunnymen. So all, all, as I say, all Scousers,
yeah,
which is great. Back of a tremendous song. Straight Tale's my favourite Clash song. Stories of the Blues. Story of the Blues is amazing. Do you believe in the Westworld? There was a little bit of a kind of what are they called? Not not rockers, but
they were
you know,
they were they were between the kind of psychobilly and goth kind of thing,
psychobilly.
because
Yeah, that's the
the
word.
big quiffs and the kind of Gretsch guitars, but without having the kind of same psychobilly sound. They did appeal very much to the psychobilly audience, but the goths loved them as well because they were called Theatre of Hate.
Well, indeed, and they were great. That's such a great record, and
Mm,
um, like so you had the kind of pop chart version of that, which was the Stray Cats, and then you went,
yeah,
the through line to them was the alternative version.
yeah,
Great, great, great record, and number one, New Order's Temptation. You've got to be pretty happy with that.
yeah, yeah. Although I'm surprised that the audience at the time, the probably the most progressive thing to see in there is Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five's The Message. When you look back through the whole 50, it is mainly um, British bands. You got the kind of odd chameleons, I think, were New Zealand or Aussies.
I think they're from
Um,
Manchester.
were they? Or I was thinking of a
Yeah, I
different
think so.
chameleons. But
Yeah,
uh, yeah, it's they. Oh, Psychedelic Furs. They're definitely American. But when you get all the way up to the first major rap song in the UK, if you don't include Blondie's uh, Rapture,
Rapture. Yeah,
which I think was the first charted record to have rapping in it in the UK. I think it predated that by a year or so. This is um, just memory, not research. But yeah, for a first proper actual rap single, very progressive voting. Yeah, when you look at the rest of it, it's still very much dominated by the same kind of post-punk and punk sound. And then that one banging there at number three really stands out.
and do you know why I think that was? Because I think quite a few of these records were played on the dance floor. So like, there was the goth thing was
Mm,
starting to definitely, the warehouse was open in Leeds, so that kind of stuff was being played on the dance floor, I think, and they were probably playing Bauhaus in those clubs like Phonographique in Leeds.
mm,
What else? Look at that. The New Order stuff would have been played on dance record. Yezu's Only You would have been dance
very
record. You'd
much.
Ability stuff. So yeah, and I think therefore people would have been putting some rap records on,
Mm,
especially obviously Grandmaster Flash. So that kind of explains it. But yeah, it is an outlier, but an absolutely fantastic outlier.
definitely. It must have been hard being a DJ then, thinking, where does this actually fit? I know it's great, but where am I going to put it in? If you're not playing, I mean, I'm at the moment reading through Norman Cook's book that he's just released, and he's talking about at the start before he was in the House Martins, saying about that he was kind of a DJ. Even when he was at school, people used to always invite him to um, all their parties because he was the one who turned up with records. But even he would say at the time you were just playing. If you wanted people to dance, you just played what people were dancing to, and
Yeah,
it must have been like any DJ of any kind of worth has kind of like a set you can go, well, this fits there, this fits there. If they're going to dance to that, they'll dance to this. And then along comes something like that, and you go, well, yeah, but where's it going to go? don't know. It's weird.
Well, the DJs, they knew their craft.
Yes, I think it was harder work then.
So, I think it probably was harder work.
Yeah.
Well, in some ways, but you certainly, as this Festive 50 has shown, had a lot of great records to choose from.
Oh, yeah. And less regimented as well, because the factions hadn't, I don't think, you only had like the faction of punk that, as goths and what have you, hadn't quite melted into being very much at this time, I think.
I think the goths were gothing, but they weren't. Maybe they hadn't become strong,
Well, yeah,
and
when did the Batcave start?
What am I trying to say?
Uh,
Well, as I say, the Phonographique, which was very gothy in Leeds, and the Warehouse, because that was Sisters of Mercy, and that was where that was their stronghold. That was definitely while I was at university, so that was definitely happening.
no,
In
Batcave, 1982.
Yeah, so they were starting to be goths.
I didn't realise till very recently that Bela Lugosi's Dead was released in '79. Yeah, I know.
Really?
I
Wow.
don't think it. I think,
and then re-released on the back of Goth Love.
I think I would have bought it about 1981. I think. Yeah, I think probably I owned it before I moved down here in Devon. So yeah, I know that would have been my first proper goth single. And then me and my friends went to see Sisters of Mercy at somewhere in Exeter with the Skeletal family supporting. That was it was.
Good.
And we came out and we were sat outside all in our gothic finery, and some bloke walked out with the same gig, looked at us and went, bloody goths, and wandered off. And I thought, who did you go and see?
Well, there you go. That shows you that the goths weren't cemented as a thing at that point. Bela Lugosi's Dead was number 9 in the all-time charts.
Oh, in this 82 one, was it?
In 1982.
Oh, yeah.
So shall we do?
We'll do the categories.
Right. So the first category is the John Peel himself award for your favourite song. Which song? It's the favourite here because, say, the house was burning, and you could see all these 50 were lined up in front of you, but you could only grab one of them. So all the others have to be burnt in the fire. Making quite a lot of this. But which one? Which one are you saving?
Now I think you think I'd go straight to Cocteau Twins with this, because it would be. I am an obsessive with cocktails, but on the strength of where I was saying about Scritti Politti and owning that album 5 times, I would have to rescue Asylums in Jerusalem, because I'd never know whether I'll get another copy of it again. And it still remains for me an absolute, that burst intro, that little drum intro. Every time I hear it, I have to hear the whole song and then probably start listening to all the rest of the tracks again from the album.
Good choice. Yeah.
So
I mean, I find it really hard to leave behind Straight to Hell. I'd put my hand towards it and then bring it back. That'd be really, really hard. I love African and White. Oh yeah, so many. So I love Back of Love. Yes, it's between Straight to Hell. I think I would have to again, because they just came out of nowhere and it was so different, and so Peel and so Scottish, so Postcard, Aztec Cameras, Pillar to Post. I think, would be my
choice. Good choice.
now I've been kind of sitting on this because we mentioned it a couple of times, but um, the Lil Pump Award for the worst song. Now, why is it called the Lil Pump Award? Because before at work earlier, I googled what's the worst song of all time according to the internet, and Lil Pump was one was mentioned. And when you go, and then I've just gone back and said Lil Pump, bad song, and people are actually nominating other songs. So I think Lil Pump,
that, it must, that shows a
indeed,
dexterity of hate.
a dexterity of terribleness. Um, so poor Little Pump, he
Yes.
uh, he is now it's now the Lil Pump Award for the worst song, and you know what I'm going to say. Song I absolutely despise,
I
and
do.
it might be because I've heard it so many times at every single wedding I've ever been to, and everybody just seems to like love it, massive smile, and like it's such a dad song. I'm talking about, of course, Dexy's Midnight Runners, Come On Eileen, and squarely in that category of fantastic band I absolutely love, and I love Kevin Rowland's solo stuff. I love to. He's been at Glastonbury the last couple of years, and I don't watch much on the telly of Glastonbury, but I try and catch him because he's such a great. He's always great on stage. But Come On Eileen is an
Mm.
absolute aberration and needs to get in a bin, and that bin needs to be thrown into the sea.
Yes,
Um,
very much so. But it is. I'd say it comes into a song that you, like you say, you just hear it so often. Um, I mean, it has a saving couple of seconds, which is the very first little violin riff before it gets going and starts to grind your soul away. There's a couple of seconds of a nice little intro that's, it's, and you think, oh, oh no, it's
no, I think it's even gone beyond that. I mean, that to me, that's the worst part because you know what's coming.
not. But it
It
does give you
doesn't.
2 seconds of hope. Because if you don't listen to it for a while, you can go,
It's the
oh
hope
no,
that
it's not,
kills
is
you. Um, so, what's your little pump?
it? In this 50, I find it difficult. And I do agree with the Dexy's Midnight Runners.
Oh,
Um, it is appalling. But, excuse me. The song that really does my head in from this is Should I Stay or Should I Go? And it is purely because um, it just, it's one of those songs that people who would look down on punks, etc., uh, and they go out of their way to um, annoy anybody with any kind of alternative leaning, but put 3 pints of lager in them, they suddenly know every word to "Should I stay or should I go?" because it was used for everything, adverts, jingles. It just absolutely wore me down, and I just can't listen
yeah,
to
I
it.
agree. I wouldn't say it's a terrible song by a great band, but certainly a song that has had its day. A song that just has, because it's been ground down, it's been, it's been just absolutely forced on you at every single moment. Every kind of, it seemed to be every corner you went
Hmm.
round. It was, there the Clash should be there singing "Should I Stay or Should I Go." Um, Weddings, but and it's just so
Yeah,
Radio X. And and when I say Radio X, I do mean
yeah.
that pejoratively. I do mean Radio X is a terrible thing. Um, so yeah, good good choices, I think. Yeah, and shout out to my son Paddy
Yeah.
who banned Come On Eileen from his wedding as well. So I didn't have to suffer it at his wedding. Um, Next category is I've never heard of you award. There's a few songs here that just I've got no idea what they are, and I'm going to have to go and listen to them. Number nine's Artery Into the Garden. I've got no idea what that is. I've got a feeling just because Artery, it could be
Yeah,
kind of
that
post-punk, kind of post-rock. Don't know.
it means um, to to be more musical. It means nothing to me. Um, it's I don't know. Into the Garden. It must have meant something to an awful lot of people
Well, it's in the top
in
10.
1982. Yeah, that's what I mean. It must have
All
been.
right. Well,
Oh, it was on Cherry Red.
that's a thumbs up. That's a badge of honor.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. What else can I find out about it? No, according to Discogs, it was the B
oh wow.
side to another song. B side to. Just got,
Was it Out of
trying to
the
look at
Garden?
it, and it's like I don't even need to know this first. I don't. Oh, God, where is it? Oh, blimey, that's terrible. I clicked on it, and they got a million.
Afterwards. Okay.
Afterwards.
Right. Well, who
A
knows?
side.
I'm definitely going to have to. We'll have to both
Uh,
listen to it and come back. I tell you what. Let's both listen to it, come back, and give it a score out of
yes.
10.
Well, the cover seems to be a picture of John Lydon. I don't think it is, but that's the image that I'm getting. So it may be a complete shock to both of us. Neil
Is it John
Mackenzie.
Lydon doing his butter advert?
Just looking at
He's
the credits. Oh, is
he's
he?
a dreadful bloke now, isn't he?
Oh, he's then just yeah the the pretend punk. Yes, I know that'll cause a lot
Yeah.
of people to shout, but oh no.
Ironically, the pretendest punk of them all, the king of the pretend punks.
Yes, definitely. I'm just looking at um, the band themselves of Artery seem to be when you see a name in a band, you think, "Look, bass Neil Mackenzie." Yeah,
The name of a
there's so
fella.
many people you think, oh, well, they must have been in another band because their name looks familiar. Simon Hinckley. Oh, yeah, there you go. Simon Hinckley was in The Mission. Yeah. Oh, and also played in Pulp for a while
Simon Hinckley.
and co-producing their first
Ah,
album.
there you go.
So I
So
thought I knew the name.
these were Simon Hinckley's vehicle towards the mission.
Hmm. So this was his first big thing.
Oh,
But
there you
apparently
go.
it was released in 1981, according to Internet. Yeah.
Well done,
In
Simon
April
Hinckley.
81 as well.
But well, maybe people loved it so much
Kept it going.
so they kept they discovered the B
Hmm.
side and they kept it going to 82 would be my guess. And then 48 action packed suicide bag.
Yeah, again.
The fact that you've got that's got to be punky,
Yeah.
hasn't it? That's got to be quite agit
I'm
pop,
just surprised there's
agit
no
pop
K
prop.
in Action Packed somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. And then serious drinking's love on the terraces. I think we were talking about that recently, and we realised they're from Norwich and quite kind of a bit farmers boysy in that it was quite
Yeah.
comedy, half man half biscuit type stuff, but always songs about football. So I mean, serious drinking,
Football and drinking.
football and drinking. So serious drinking, love on the terrace sums them up, and you
Yes.
know, fair play to them.
Yeah.
Right, next category, the Come On Britain, Let's Swing Those Pants Award for the best dance record. I have a very clear favourite here because it was something I loved, and I think I remember dancing to this at college at the time, or maybe at the warehouse. But I definitely have a clear memory of hearing it somewhere in a club, and that's the Passage XOYO. Again, quite different, quite post-punk, quite synthy, quite unusual for this list, but really love that. I can definitely cut shapes to that.
It rings a bell, but I can't remember why. Did they have another hit, The Passage?
Oh, I don't know. I
Was it
definitely don't
something
remember it,
else that
but they do. You're not thinking of. Didn't John Fox have a song called "The Passage"?
perhaps he did, but no, no, they were quite prolific. 4 albums, 8 singles. No, I can't see anything. Oh, now the passage. I think this is where I know the name from. I used to collect like flexi discs and stuff like that. They did a flexi disc with Blancmange, so that's why I remember the name.
Fair
It was
play
a
to you.
couple of years. Oh no, the same year, 1982. But that was a Melody Maker 7-inch sampler with Blancmange living on the ceiling and Sad Day excerpt. And yeah, that's on the album Sad Day excerpt. So it's just
There you go.
like an outro. That's what. Yeah, that explains my trying to remember why I knew the passage. But for me, yes, yes. I don't remember the song, but I knew I had the thing there. I think my swing in my pants stage for there is I'll definitely be up bopping for most things by New Order. So Temptation, I would definitely be throwing myself around to. Obviously, anytime Scritti Politti appeared, Bauhaus, even though that wasn't a great version, their cover of Ziggy Stardust. If it did ever play anywhere that we're around, we felt obliged to hit the dance floor just to show our goth leanings and prove that we were supporting them in whatever way they needed to be supported.
Obviously, I've mentioned Asylums in Jerusalem. That was played at college. So, the message, obviously,
Yeah.
it was made for dancing.
Yes.
I think you could have a good stomp around to town called Malice as well.
Yeah, a lot of post-pogoing with that, I think.
Yeah. But I think I'm going to give the award to Asylums in Jerusalem, which means it's won 2 awards.
Yes. Fitting.
On this show. So, what would Taylor Swift cover?
So, Taylor Swift. I could see her earnestly covering shipbuilding because she does like to send messages, although most of them just to annoy my daughters because they would definitely argue about this, but most of her messages are about breaking up with partners.
Right, for next week's show,
Yeah.
send it to both of them, Robert Wyatt's version, and say to them, do you think Taylor would do a good version of this?
Yeah.
And see what reply you get back.
Yeah, and I won't give them any background either.
No, absolutely no context.
No. And I could also
I think that Weekend song, A View from Her Room, probably as well, because we talked about that. That's quite fey. So sorry, you were going to pick one there.
Pillar to Post. I say Cameron's Pillar to Post. I think it's got that in her current kind of way of writing. Now that she's writing with what's his name from the National,
Matt Berninger.
No, the other one, Dresner.
Oh, right.
He seems to have brought out her less poppy side and more kind of introspective side. And I think that
I wouldn't know.
Oh, having 2 daughters that are confirmed Swifties. Yeah, I know, but I do actually like one of her songs, but I still say it's a Bon Iver song. They say it's a Taylor Swift song. So I heard it because I heard Bon Iver singing it. It's this always goes out of my head. What's it called again? It's such a good song with Taylor. They'll be screaming.
Is it one of his songs, or do they do it together?
It's a song called Exile. She, for a long time, apparently, it's one of those tracks that she wouldn't play live, and then every now and again she'd play it, and the whole place would erupt, and like I think once or twice Bonnie would appear on stage and sing it with her. So I don't know, you should listen to it. I would definitely recommend listening to it because it's a fantastic song. It was recorded during lockdown years. There's a live version on YouTube of the two of them in separate studios singing it, and yeah, it's
What's he called? Justin Vernon, is that his name?
yeah, Justin something like that. Justin Vernon sounds right. Yeah, but
Just in time.
he's credited it just as Bon Iver, not as Justin.
Right. Well, yeah, I've got nothing against her. Don't get me wrong. It's just I haven't got time to listen to it. I literally,
There's too much of it.
I literally don't have time. I'm going to throw in an outlier that she might enjoy covering. It would be the Jam's "Bitterest Pill." I think I could see that being.
Yes, well, it's in her ballpark, isn't it? Breakup songs.
Well, indeed, it's a breakup song. She could definitely pare that down and sing that to Travis Kelce. Are they together?
Yes.
He's current beau, is he?
Yes.
Yeah, he's the
Yeah.
football man.
Yeah, they're married, I think, aren't they? Pretty sure.
I think they are, yes. And the other side of the spectrum, what would pigs? It's pigs. 7 of them. I'm not sure I got all 7 in there, but pigs times 7. What do you think they would cover?
I think they gladly cover anything that the Redskins put out. It's got that kind of boots on the ground aggression. It'd be too easy to give them anything by the Clash, you know. And I think a really good one for them would be the Theatre of Hate. Do you believe in the Westworld?
Yes, or Killing Joke. Anything by Killing Joke.
Yeah, yeah.
Empire Song at 20 and Peasant Army by Redskins at 31. So I think, yeah, they'd give all of those a right good seeing to. And maybe a bit of Bauhaus for a B-side.
Yeah.
They could
I think
stretch themselves a bit.
I think if they were covering a Bauhaus, I think they'd be looking at something more obscure than the kind of third uncle kind of more well known. I think you'd be looking at something Spy in the Cab kind of thing would be their kind of that's the way I see
Vibe.
it. Yes, their hype. I'd like to
And
hear
the
them.
last category.
Yeah, go on.
Go on.
I'd like to
Sorry.
hear them do something
No,
like
no,
Only You. That would be. Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. Yes, it'd be very unusual.
Mm.
And finally, the "I Will Survive" award for the best karaoke song. But by this I mean, if you had a gun put to your head, which would you do for karaoke?
I think that's.
I think if somebody else was doing it
Mm.
and and they were good at it, I think shipbuilding would be good to hear in a pub.
Yes.
On a microphone.
Yeah, only in a pub. You couldn't club sing that because everyone would just stop.
They would then club you.
Yeah. I think I'd have, if someone put a gun to my head to karaoke, it would have to be something I would be confident in knowing the majority of the words. So I'm probably going somewhere Simple Mindsy, like.
Okay.
And there's no vocal stretch, nothing wrong with their songs. I really like Simple Minds, but he doesn't stretch vocally. Do you know what I mean? He sounds as he sounds, and it's no Billy Mackenzie.
There's no range.
Yeah. Or even it could be really easy, and you go, "Oh, Mad World," obviously, because that's everyone knows that.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, you'd win the crowd over definitely with that one.
Yeah.
So I was thinking of African and White again because no vocal range required. Um, but I've actually gone for Pass the Dutchie
All right. Difficult one to.
to not sound racist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah. I see. I still haven't. I think in the end, probably someone somewhere in the summertime. I think.
Yeah, I think you can kind of drone your way through
Yeah.
that, can't you?
There's lots of kind of
Yeah.
empty guitar space in there.
Empty guitar space. I love it. There's your There's your band name. So that's your categories. Anything else you wanted to mention about this whole experience? About 1982?
1982 musically, very much a kind of like I say at the start. This is where my uh, vinyl purchasing started, and I do look at this and go, have I still got that? Have I still got that? I mean, the Farmers Boys. It's one that, like, I've got two of their singles, and neither of them are on here. Um,
Same actually. I've got two 12 inches and neither of them are on here. I don't know if they'll turn up in 83.
Possibly,
Find out live.
I think this is one of those things when you look at it, you go, oh, that was 82. That was 82. Because some of them, like equating some of the tracks into the same year as something like the Clash's "Know Your Rights." I wouldn't have said it came out in the same year as New Order's "Temptation." There's a big audible gap because the Clash were still. I wouldn't say that they were hardcore punk, but they were still doing their same stuff that was their bread and butter. And then Temptation was a completely new sound in that New Order decided, they're going to be working on a more electronic sound. Do you know what I mean? That to me, that's like the two ends of that year, where you've got New Order progressing
Yeah,
towards a
absolutely.
new danceable sound, and it's before the breakup of the Clash and moving on to Big Audio Dynamite, which is the Clash in a dance mood, as it were. But yeah, there's a lot in here that I still have on
Yeah,
vinyl.
I think you're absolutely.
There's a lot on here that I'm looking at going, oh, I need to get that back on vinyl.
Yeah, well, you can't do that because you definitely will be out on the street.
Well, I've got a friend that's a record dealer, so it helps.
Well, I'm sure. I'm sure he says he's your friend. I'm sure he's delighted to
He
know you.
actually got me the last ever Colenso single that I was missing from Colenso Parade's output. Your friend's Colenso Parade.
Indeed. And that's you must be the only person. And I'm actually I heard from Oscar, um, the main man behind
All
Colenso
right.
Parade, recently, and he retired last year, and he's
Mm-hmm.
moved out to a lovely house in the Lothians, and has invited me up next year. So when I tell him that, he'll be absolutely delighted
To know that there is someone
that
that's got
somebody.
all of it.
Well, yeah, absolutely, that somebody's carrying the flame.
And I do play it to my friends quite often when they come round. I say, "Oh, well, you've got to hear this then if you like that." And my friend Pete was around the other day, and they played him um, their version of "Here Comes the Night." Hmm. But it's because we were talking about Van Morrison at the time. I said, "Oh, I'll have to play you this." Yeah, he was very much impressed with that.
Well, there you go. And Colenso Parade is a very good play. You need to check them out, by the way. Unfortunately, if you're checking them out online, especially on Spotify. Boo. Not on Spotify anymore. But if you are checking out Cleanser Parade, there is a new band that came out in the
Yes.
last 10, 15 years called Cleanser Parade. And I very huffily sent them a message saying, why have you chosen the name of a band that already exists? Um,
Although that's quite good.
so,
I've just put them into Google, and it's actually them that are the original proper Cleanser Parade are at the top. It's got a cover of Hallelujah Chorus. There's a photo of them. They've even
great.
got a wiki page.
Yes, they have, which is great.
Members,
Yeah,
Terry
so a great
Bickers.
Terry Bickers, House of
Yeah.
Love.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I'm sure House of Love are going to feature in upcoming Festive
Yes.
50s.
Yeah, I'm pretty
But
sure
for
they
now, we
do.
just have, yeah. But Cleanser Parade, not in this particular Festive 50, but a great band from Northern Ireland that we were friends with.
Yeah.
We just need to finish by choosing the next year because we're doing these at random, not in order, because
Yeah.
we just thought you'd enjoy that more. So I'm going to run my finger up and down the spreadsheet, and when you say when, I'm going to stop.
Okie doke. You go ahead.
Yeah, I'm running it. I'm running that finger.
Now.
Okay, so we're going for 1994.
Oh, 1994. That's a big difference from 82.
There's going to be a lot of difference. Be very interesting to see what the crossover with the chart, the actual main chart, because I think in here, obviously, you've got, we talked about Tears for Fears and Dexy's was the biggest selling song of the year, but not that much. Probably some of the Clash stuff, Yazoo, but not that much crossover. But my instinct will be that there'll be more crossover in 1994. But let's find out next time.
Yes, definitely.
And so, yeah, you can follow us. Have you set up an email?
I have set up an email, and it is, when I find it, I keep forgetting it. It is jpffpod@gmail.com. So JP for John Peel, FF Festive 50, pod for podcast @gmail.com.
There you go. You can also get into. I've just changed today. I've got an Instagram account for my Substack, which has been a bit dormant, but I need to get back on that. And we will have a separate Substack for this show as well, by the way. But the Instagram profile is called the Festive 50s, so it's THE Festive, the number 5, naught, and the Festive 50s. So you can find us on Instagram, and I will set up in the future a Blue Sky account as well, so people can get in touch with us. And if you want to, disagree with us, you want to shout at us, you want to send us some love, then please do. But we'll see you next time for 1994. We'll see you in 1994, shall I say?
Yeah.
We'll see you in 1994. I've been Martin Johnston.
I've been John Johnston.